Cyberlimbs and off the grid are one of the most unique aspects of the game. Imagine you could mix and match hero abilities from all the characters in Apex Legends. You'd have like limitless combos of builds. And this is basically what Off the Grid has done, and all the biggest streamers love this Cyberlimb system. In my latest Intel report, I have every Cyberlimb in Off the Grid ranked in a tier list from S all the way down to REKT. It's mission time. Welcome back, agents. Secret Agent Stash here. We are at GIA headquarters, the gaming intelligence agency, always bringing the latest intel on the newest games. And today we're talking all about Off the Grid. It's my favorite, and we're going to be looking at all the different Cyberlimbs here. People keep asking me, Stash, what are your favorite Cyberlimbs? Well, I did a video about my top 5 meta loadouts that are completely broken right now. Make sure you guys go check that out above here. But today we're actually going to rank every Cyberlimb in a tier list from S all the way down to REKT. Let's go to the ratings. All right, here we go. We got 17 Cyberlimbs in this game. Legs and arms, we're rating them all. And, you know, like I said, some of these are just absolute standouts, and some of them are just complete trash. You don't really want to use them, or maybe you're going to use them for just certain situations. But we're going to show you guys all the rankings here today. We're kicking it off with the Buzz Killer, and that is that crazy little drone, right? You can fly him around, and he shoots your enemies, boop, 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 which is really good. Like, you know, it's not very powerful, but it does give you a good indicator if someone's around there, and it can turn the tide in a battle if they're above you and they're just taking off someone's shields, beep, beep, and they don't even realize it, right? Which is kind of interesting. So, Buzz Killer, not bad. You know, it used to be a lot more powerful. Since they did that patch, I'm gonna have to go C with Buzz Killer. Not my favorite, not completely REKT, but not the most powerful Cyberlimb in the game. But when we take the next one up here, Ghost is one of my absolute favorites, right? It's giving you that invisibility, and this is great for all types of situations, man. I definitely have to give Ghost A tier. We're going A tier with Ghost. It's very close to being S, in my opinion. Very close to being S here. But it is definitely one of the best Cyberlimbs in the game. Now, one of the things I will say is it does kind of suck that, you know, when you're starting to loot or do other things, it takes you out of that Ghost. People will be able to see you when you loot and do a couple other actions. But in general, very powerful. All right, up next we have the Hammerheads. These are the legs that fire you up in the air, and then you slam right back down on somebody, right? And it stuns them, which is nice. And you can actually, you know, get out of that by pressing the space button. You can cancel out the actual, you know, stun and smash down part, which gives you, it makes it kind of like a one-use leaper in a way, which I really actually appreciate and love. If you guys didn't know that, that's one of the like little tricks and secrets for the Hammerheads here. Hammerheads are not bad. You know, I will say C tier for Hammerheads. They have their use case. They can be, you know, they can be effective, but if I would never pick them over like a leaper or a roadrunner. Just my personal preference here. All right, next up we have the Hookshot. Hookshot is a lot of fun to use. It's one of the best mobility items in the game. I would say second to only really leapers and roadrunners. But this allows you to be able to hookshot any building, anything in the game, and pull you right to it. What you can also do is you can hookshot people too. I bet you didn't know that. You can hookshot other players and bring them close to you, which is a lot of fun to play with as well. I'm going A tier with hookshot. I think it's definitely one of the best ones in the game. There's still ones that I would say are better, so we're gonna go S tier with some of those here later. But hookshot, solid A tier. All right, next up we have the Javelina. This is like basically just shooting a freaking rocket out of your hand. Now, this was so OP in the last build right before it went to open beta that everyone was using Javelina. It was like one of those things where you had to have Javelina. It was just too overpowered, but it's still a really good Cyberlimb, in my opinion, even though it has been a little bit nerfed here. You know, I will say Javelina in general is probably going to go B tier for me. You know, before the nerf, it definitely was like an S tier because it was just ridiculously broken. But a solid B tier, I think, for Javelina. It still has its uses. If you get one on the ground, I wouldn't, you know, I would definitely take that over like a Buzz Killer or something like that. So Javelina, solid B. Up next, we have the Kinetic Shield. Now, you know, this is not the worst Cyberlimb, but, you know, in comparison to some of these other ones, I feel like it's just kind of REKT. It needs a little bit something else, maybe a little bit more of a power boost. Basically, when you pop the shield out, you know, you're only getting that shield in front of you, and then you're absorbing the damage, and then you can kind of push it back on the other person. You know, I feel like if it got a little bit of a boost for the damage that you could push back on the other person, this would be one of those ones that everyone would be using. But for right now, I just feel it's kind of REKT compared to some of these other limbs. Not my most favorite. I don't want to be picking it about in the field. and you probably don't want to either. All right, here we go. The king of all cyberlimbs, the leapers. We're going straight S tier. I don't even know that I need to explain that, but this is one of the best in the entire game. It's going to push you up in the air. The absolute, top tier mobility. Leapers are the king. This is the standard for pretty much every build out there for the most part, unless you're doing maybe roadrunners, but totally S tier with leapers. Not much else I can say other than the fact that they're just the best mobility in the game. Then we have Paralyzer, also one of the best in the game. This is giving you a wall hack and an EMP that you can fire at people, and if you hit them, it's gonna it stops them, right? And then they can't do anything with their cyberlimbs. They can barely move. You basically hack them, and this is S tier all the way. A lot of people will say, Paralyzer is a little bit broken because it's giving you two things like that. I would almost agree there. It is very OP. I think that they may nerf this here pretty soon, but have fun and use it now. All right, up next we have the Phosphor Fury. This is also one of my all-time favorites. This thing is basically shooting out an explosive phosphor dart, and when it sticks to an enemy, they can't get it off. I love it. It's embarrassment protocol engaged. That's what they say every time when you actually stick it to an enemy. And then it explodes, and then not only does it explode and kill them, but then they're downed, and it makes a big fire puddle in the ground, which is great. And you can also use the Phosphor Fury to light the other one of the other ones here from the Slugger. So when you put Slugger on the ground, if you shoot it with Phosphor Fury, you can actually light the Slugger on fire with it, which is pretty cool. Gives you even more utility. Total S tier in my opinion. All right, we got Recon Drone up next. Recon Drone was a lot more powerful in the last build. It was definitely the meta. They made it to where it definitely does not last long enough in my opinion, but I still think Recon is really good. I'm still gonna go A tier. Now, if it was lasted a little bit longer, I think we need a medium. We need like a little bit of a medium between where it was before, where it was way OP because it was just showing you everybody all the time, to what it is now, where it kind of shows you a radar type of ping, but it goes away so quickly. It would be S tier if we could increase that duration just a little bit longer. All right, we have Rippers up next. Rippers are a lot of fun, man. This is a great up close weapon. I think I gotta go B with Rippers. They're pretty versatile in a lot of ways, especially if you're up close. You can use them in a bunch of different builds. In particular, I love them with Roadrunners. Super solid, but like I said, once again, close range, solid B. You got that big blade on the back of your arm. It looks cool in the game too, right? Which is one of the things I love about it. But definitely can do some really big damage up front. Great finisher. Basically the finisher move in the game. So looking at the next one here, we have Roadrunners. Also one of the best in the entire game. I want to say S tier almost, but I'm gonna go A tier with the Roadrunners. There's some really cool things I love about the Roadrunners. They do last a long time. You can run a long time with these at epic level. And the other great thing is that if your teammates are behind you, they get like a Roadrunner boost to their run. It's like they almost have Roadrunners too, so they can go almost as fast as you. So you guys can get in like a train where you got one guy in the front with Roadrunners and the rest of two teams members behind you, and they're gonna get that speed boost. So, man, so borderline for me. I almost want to go S tier with them. Maybe, okay, maybe, I'm switching. I'm going S tier. Roadrunners are definitely really good. Like, so many situations you could use them in. I was gonna go A, but I think I'm going S with Roadrunners. Yeah, they're really good. It's a lot of fun to play with them. A lot of good extra boosts for them. Easy to get away. Right, that's one of the best things about them. All right, up next we have the Skunk Paw. This is one of the coolest names for any of the Cyberlimbs in the game, and just being able to shoot this like skunky, smoke bomb at somebody that does a lot of damage to them, to their shields too, like very quickly. Skunk Paw is actually a lot of fun to use. Now I gotta go B with Skunk Paw. It does some good damage. I can say it's sometimes very situational. Right, very situational, but I've been able to get out of a sticky situation with Skunk Paw, and then also, people have been able to, get me into some very sticky situations with it as well. But solid B tier for something like this, right? One of the best things to do to use it is hitting the extractor with that Skunk Paw, man. People are not going to want to go in there to be able to try and put their hex in if it's skunked. So, it's a great way to kind of like, also make your escape too. Skunk behind you, keep going. They have to go through that. And they don't know where you've gone. Maybe you go back around. You get them inside of all the gas. So it could be a lot of fun there. All right, up next we have the Slam Fist. The slam fist is not bad, but it's also not really that good. There's some good aspects to it. It is cool that you can kind of slam fist up now, but in my opinion, still, I feel like this is one of the REKT Cyberlimbs. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel like it has a unique enough place. It feels a little bit like a Ripper in a lot of ways. They've tried to make it and differentiate a little bit, but in my opinion, just one of the worst ones in the game. None of the Cyberlimbs are completely trash, but if you're gonna compare them to something else here, like Hookshot or Ghost or Phosphor Fury, definitely REKT in my opinion. All right, now we have Slugger. I was talking about Slugger earlier here. And, you know, this one was one of my favorites early on in the closed early access. And I might be coming back with some Slugger, you know, where we have like the Phosphor Fury. So where we have the Paralyzer that does kind of like that EMP. They made to where you have to directly hit them with the EMP. And it's kind of hard to do because there's no real good aiming mechanism for it. I might be bringing back Slugger to my loadouts and replacing it with Paralyzer. Maybe doing like a Recon Slugger type of thing. Because this definitely helps you to keep people in place so you can absolutely just destroy them. Solid C tier, I mean, I wouldn't say it's REKT, but they did kind of lower down how sticky it was, how long it stuck there, and then the fact that you can light it on fire is pretty cool too. All right, last two, we're rounded out here. We got Thumpers. Thumpers REKT. I'm not even... Look, Thumper's a really powerful weapon. I will say that, but when it comes down to, you know, the legs, I need more mobility. Even if I had like Thumpers and Hookshot, it just wouldn't be enough, right, to be able to have the type of mobility that you really need in this game. And Thumpers just don't do it. But yeah, very powerful. I've killed myself too many times with Thumpers for them to be in any other category but REKT. Final opinion right there. All right, last on our list, we have the Trip Mines. Trip Mines are pretty good in some situations, but they're not very versatile in my opinion. You can shoot them at other people, but sometimes they don't blow up. They're great for, you know, tripping trip mining the actual extractors or trip mining the redeployment stations. That's where they really shine. So like towards late game or you know, early game, if you're trying to protect your extractor, they can be pretty good. But would I take them over some like Phosphor Fury or Paralyzer or Hookshot or Ghost? Probably not. So I think this is a good ranking of all of these different Cyberlimbs here. But I want to know what you guys think. All right, every off-the-grid Cyberlimb ranked S tier all the way down to REKT. Were they the rankings you expected? Like I said, put it in the comments below. I want to hear what you think about this list. Give me your tier list. And that's all we have for today, agents. As always, this briefing never happened. Secret Agent Stache, over and out.
Secret Agent Stache. Secret Agent Stache.